Hi there guys, and welcome to another Red Gaming Tech gaming news video. My name is Amata and I have some Witcher 3 news for you today, as we have our first real batch of information concerning the actual gameplay itself. There's been quite a lot of news about the engine that it uses, as well as the fact that it's going to be released on the PS4. But now we have quite a bit of information about the game and the gameplay, of course. So let's take a look and see what there is. First of all, there will be no quick time events, in The Witcher 3, which is awesome. Many of us hate QTEs, including myself. Yeah, it's awesome to know that they won't be included because they're a pain in my arse. Before I continue, I just want to give credit to who's giving us this news today. It comes from Germany and a round of previews based on an hour with a new RPG. The German website World of Players mined a PC games preview for the detail, and it has been translated by Eurogamer.de. Anyway, enough of all that. Geralt will be more agile in The Witcher 3, as he can now jump and climb pretty much whenever he likes. There's also a new combat system, similar to the VAT system in Fallout 3, where obviously you could kind of do slow-mo attacks and target certain weak areas of the enemies. And basically it's exactly that. It lets you target specific parts or vulnerabilities of monsters. Whether or not this will use action points like in Fallout 3, we don't know, but I imagine it will use something similar, because otherwise why would you not just spam that constantly? Geralt can also now hunt wild animals for their furs and claws in The Witcher 3, and as a sensibility you can use to track colour-coded traces of beasts, which will help you prepare your tactics in advance. Hunting will provide you with materials for crafting and will be a valuable way of making money. So it seems that yet another game is having a hunting/crafting mechanic put into it. That seems to be more and more popular recently. Not that I'm complaining, it's always fun to do, and it's nice to know that they're kind of giving it a little bit of meat to it, because I liked it in, say, for example, Assassin's Creed 3, but I felt like it could have been, shall we say, fleshed out a bit more and made a little bit more complex. Anyway, let's move on with the information here. And the only thing now is that killing monsters and animals outside of quests will not reward you with XP. The only time you will gain XP is for defeating enemies or monsters or what have you during a quest. And I'm going to come back to that later, because I think we're going to spend some time talking about that particular idea. But for now, I'm just going to move on to the next piece of news. How much you can sell your looted or crafted items for depends on the local economy of each settlement, because obviously if you're in a poor village or something, the merchant or what have you isn't going to be able to give you that much for the same fur, where a rich city could give you much more for it, obviously. The world being bigger, which has obviously been touted a lot since we've had the official announcement of The Witcher 3, Geralt is able to use horses and also boats to get around. You can tame horses using an Axii sign, or you can just, forget all that rubbish and just buy a horse. You can borrow boats from the beaches and ports of the world, and you can probably buy them as well. And there's also, of course, a fast travel options from known locations, so it works kind of like Skyrim, where you have to have been to a place to be able to fast travel there, which is always good. And supposedly there will be no invisible borders to the world. The 3 areas available in The Witcher 3 are accessible from the start. Whether The Witcher 3 will break open the open world and load interiors or areas like cities remains to be seen. Elder Scrolls games did this, and CD Projekt Red has said that it will take many lessons in open world architecture from that series, which is always good, because the Elder Scrolls has been going for a long time, and every person or company, should I say, who tries to do an open world RPG kind of needs to learn some lessons from those games, and the things they did right and the things they did wrong. So it's definitely comforting to know that they're going to be taking some lessons from that. It means that we can maybe hopefully see The Witcher 3 not make some of the mistakes that Skyrim made. Supposedly though, the main story will occupy you for 50 hours. Doing all of the side quests will push that time to 100, so it's not actually going to be a short game by any stretch of the imagination. There are possible 36 states the world can end up in because of your actions, and there are 3 possible epilogues to finish your adventure with, each an hour long. You will be able to import save games from your previous Witcher games, which will alter relationships with characters but not affect the main story. So if you've completed Witcher 2 or Witcher 1 or both, certain characters who are recurring from those games will react to you differently and definitely talk to you like they've met you before or something like that, I would imagine, if you load your saves. But obviously if you just load in the Witcher 3, don't bother with that, or you haven't played the other ones, then obviously the relationships are going to be different, which I quite like. Geralt can reach level 60, and character development will be more complex, allowing for hundreds of customization possibilities. Monsters will not level with you though, so you better not wander out of the comfy little territory that you've got, because if you run into something that you're not ready to fight, you will get smacked the hell down. Inversely though, if you're much more powerful than your enemy, they may surrender to you rather than fight, especially of course if it's a human or witcher or something like that. They'll also be smart enough to realise that, hey, if they fight you, they're going to get killed, so why would they not surrender? You will not be able to kill civilians, who will alert the guards if you try to pickpocket from them. If you want to make a bit of extra money, there will be new minigame bettings, axe throwing bets, and playing cards open to you. The Witcher 3 will have a tutorial from the outset, which is awesome. The Witcher 2 didn't, and some people found it difficult to get into until they added a tutorial later on in the enhanced edition of the game. So it's nice to see they've learned a lesson from The Witcher 2, because it was punishingly difficult right at the beginning, and some people liked that. But I think a lot of people found it quite a steep learning curve, and I think it kind of stopped The Witcher 2 from doing as well as it should have at the start. Obviously, it kind of fixed that when it added the tutorial in the enhanced edition. The Witcher 3, though, is of course out on PC and PS4 and probably the next generation Xbox in 2014, sorry, not 13. Oh, and the PC version will have a different UI. PC and console versions, they'll have a different UI from each other. So that's pretty much all of the news concerning The Witcher 3, but I just want to go back to that no XP thing I discussed earlier. To be honest, I'm not really keen on that idea, and I'll tell you why. One of the main reasons I'm not keen is because people have literally been trained for the last 20 plus years to basically grind outside of quests. You know, pretty much every RPG that's like open world and has the whole XP gathering thing encourages you to grind outside of the main quest so that the character can be strong enough to take on some of the extra challenges, especially when it comes to side quests. Say, for example, with Final Fantasy, I know it's not open world, but obviously it's an RPG where grinding is very, very important. Especially if you want to deal with some of the bosses easily, because if you only do the occasional battle or what have you, then obviously it's not going to go well. And even in open world games, we kind of been trained to gather XP and grind outside of quests so that the quests are easier, so that we can take on the challenge. So to be honest, I'm not really sure how I feel about that. And there's another reason as well for this. I mean, I can see why they would want you to not spend too much time in one area and too much time grinding, just, you know, getting XP over and over and over to the point where, you know, Geralt is so powerful that he can stomp anything. I understand that, that's fine, I get their logic behind this, but I think that if they wanted a better way to do this, they could basically do it as, like, diminishing rewards kind of thing. Like, if you stay in an area for a certain amount of time, or you kill a certain amount of enemies, outside of a quest, then the amount of XP or gold or what have you that you gain from those monsters will start to go down, it will start to diminish, and to the point where there's no point in you doing it. And this would have to happen fairly quickly past a certain point for it to be effective, but at least you have some sort of reward. I'm not really sure how people are going to take this particular thing. I mean, I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Am I making too much of a big deal out of it, or is it quite a big deal? Personally, I think it is something to worry about, because everything else about The Witcher 3 sounds really, really good, but this one thing kind of makes me go, I don't know, but we'll see. I'll be interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Please do hit me up with any comments. I always like to hear from you guys. It's good to get a bit of a discussion going in the comments. And do check out our channel, as we have lots of gaming goodness uploaded every single day for you guys. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.